Listen, you fuckers, you screwheads.
Up next, we're going to check out Taxi Driver in 4K.
And if you're interested in getting yourself organized, hit the subscribe button, click the like button, share this video, tell your friends, preserve physical media.
Who the fuck do you think you're talking to?
So just recently released is the Columbia Classics Volume 2 4K titles, and in there is Taxi Driver. When we covered that, there was a lot of excitement that Taxi Driver was finally coming out in 4K, not standalone. Unfortunately, you had to buy this massive collection that Columbia was putting out that had 5 other movies as well. We're hoping that by now maybe a standalone would be announced, but it has not. However, I'm assuming by the time it does come out standalone, this is probably the transfer you're going to get. Like, it's going to be this. So a little bit of a sneak preview for those that are waiting, for the standalone. Maybe at least now we can see what it looks like or what it's going to look like beforehand. So the first screenshot here is a picture of Sybil Shepherd's face.
This is when he's asking her out on a date.
And we're looking at the 40th anniversary edition Blu-ray that had come out. And here she is, just a kind of a close-up of her eyes, forehead, hair, just to see what goes on when we change this into 4K. And it looks like that.
I like how the grain's still there, so it still looks like an American 70s movie.
Yes, it's not smoothed out or polished at all. It's lightened up for sure, and the grain just kind of intensifies a little bit more.
I was about to say, it's more intense than it is on that. And that's the edition I own. Well, actually, I own 2 editions. I own that Digibook one also.
Even the flesh tones of her face, so it's just a little bit drab here, but then when you kind of click in, you can see her cheeks are a little rosier, her nose is a little rosier.
It's lighter without being washed out or without being shiny and glossy.
Like you mentioned, it still looks like a 70s film.
Yeah, that, oh my God, do not ruin Taxi Driver with that Terminator 2 Predator bullshit.
All right, so here we got Travis Bickle buying a gun. And this is the US 40th anniversary edition, and then when we look at the 4K version, all right, so correct me if I'm wrong, but definitely the outside becomes a little bit less bright, but it also allows there to be a little bit more detail on Travis here and this guy. Like if you look when I click it out, it's almost like you can see them a little bit better now too.
Yeah, I think that's just a contrast thing.
Yeah, it doesn't look like too much has changed there other than a difference in the contrast perhaps. So here's Travis in the local grocer, 40th anniversary edition blue. He's got himself a, what's a 6-pack of beer here? This is him in 4K. Pretty much just looks like it just wipes away a layer of just drabness. Just kind of like freeze up the color, the brightness. Look at the Pepsi sign up here. Red and blue is vibrant while still maintaining the grain and stuff, and the colors on his face, his shirt, his hair, everything just like lightens up. I think it looks like refreshed.
And this is a title, God, like as I just said, don't do any crazy alterations to this. Yeah. This isn't that movie.
Very tasteful, I think.
Definitely worth the $300 for the Columbia Classics edition.
Yeah. Here's some neon signs. 40th anniversary edition Blu-ray, and then in 4K. So if you look at this one that says terminal, it looks like it lightens up the outer neon. If you look at bar was a little bit greener in the Blu-ray, and it kind of just gets toned down slightly in the 4K.
I'm almost feeling like the Blu-ray tried to make it pop more. This restoration is trying to make it more, bring it back to a more naturalistic look, especially of New York in the 70s.
Okay, and here's Blu-ray of them walking down the street. Here's 4K. Yeah, it's like, look at the sky. Comes a little bit more natural. This guy here in his tank top. I don't know. I actually haven't owned this movie since DVD, and of course, if this came out in 4K, I would get that. I'm not like blown away by anything, but honestly, I'm fine with how it turned out.
And I'm going to say, I'm going to go back on what we said earlier in this video. I think maybe there will be a bigger restoration in the future.
Think so?
If this is all their...
It's all Columbia could muster for $200. Not even in its own box or its own spine on your shelf. So yeah, tell us what you think below about this title, this restoration, if you think this is worth spending $200 or at least waiting the however long to get this when it comes out by itself. Do you think they'll do something else, or is this about all we're going to get? Do you think it looks good? Do you think it doesn't look good? Let us know.